I mean, we create an environment always that this environment makes people perceive reality in different ways.
Hi there, everybody. Here is Mario. Welcome to another episode of Design Interview 10 Questions, where we interview designers and design experts from all around the world. Today's guest is Dimitris Koliadimas. He's a Greek graphic designer, founder of Semiotik Design, a graphic design based in Greece. So thank you, Dimitris. Thank you for being here.
Mario, welcome. Thank you very much for having me. And this is a very good, nice initiation. Well done.
Thank you very much. So, if you don't mind, I would start immediately with the initial question, which is what made you become a designer?
Actually, I became accidentally a designer. When I was at high school, I wanted, to follow the School of Architecture. When I was at high school, we were having exams for the uni at that time, and the system here in Greece is like you give the exams and you fill a list actually with your preferences regarding the school you want to follow. So my first preference was the School of Architecture in Thessaloniki, my hometown, then in Athens, and maybe the third or fourth choice, I don't remember, was the School of Graphic Design in Athens. So I didn't get a good grade to go to the architecture school. So I was qualified for the graphic design school in Athens, which was my third or fourth, as I said, choice. And at that time, a new world opened in front of my eyes. Like I met the graphic design around 18 or 19 years old. And I felt very lucky for that. That's how I started being engaged with the world of design, accidentally.
And do you miss somehow architecture?
Well, I don't actually miss anything because I feel lucky enough to be involved into many projects that include many different fields like architecture, design, culture, etc., arts. So actually, I don't miss. And also, it's something really important. When I came back from my MA from London, for 6 months I was part of an architectural team here at the university in my city in Thessaloniki. So I was kind of teaching not architecture, but the way that graphic design affects architecture. That was around 2003 or 2004, I think. Yeah.
And how does graphic design affect architecture?
I mean, at that time, I had students from the first year of the School of Architecture here in Thessaloniki. So we were doing some workshops regarding what is graphic design and how it can be implemented into their work, how they can make better presentations, what they should take care of, actually. And something really important was our workshops, in a way, which were, as far as I do remember, regarding the way people can visualize language, connotations. So that was how it was at that time. Yeah.
One of the first impression that I had looking at your works is that you use a lot of sans serif typefaces, black and white design. I mean, not just like this, but the first strong impression is that one. And some way I really correlate that style with architecture. But what is design for you?
I mean, it's a very difficult question. Maybe I cannot answer straightforward in a way, but I can maybe summarize into a few aspects that I think design serves, which are of course functionality. This is something super important for me. Also, it serves, of course, aesthetics, of course, meaning. At the same time, it's a process to generate new things. And of course, for regarding our work, I think something important is that we always try to challenge the form. And by challenging the form means like find new ways to approach or see how the form itself can be transformed into something new. So the process that we follow actually is like a research-based process that makes us create the right toolbox and inform our design methodology. So this is how it works. Regarding black and white, I mean, of course, we don't do only black and white work. But if you notice, like our Instagram, yes, maybe some projects are in black and white. I mean, this is not a style. I cannot call it a style. I can call it like a very difficult process of focusing on the form itself, rather being decorative in a way. So yeah, that's it more or less.
You mentioned a few characteristics before, and do you try always to include them in your project?
Yes, we're trying always to include these characteristics in our process because this is our design process, actually. This is a generic overview, as I told you, about how we proceed. It's like the first step is understanding, the second is design research, then is research, then is creating the right toolbox that will inform the design process, then sketching, making a big bowl, let's say, of drafts. And then we use hierarchy to evaluate these drafts. And then we proceed with, the final selections and, of course, the final designs and the discussions with the client. Yeah.
And I mean, the studio is based in Greece, and where I mean
Yes.
is a particular country comparing with others, and for sure it's very important, the studio, because it's there. And is a particular choice for you that you decided to found the studio in Greece?
This is my hometown. So after my studies, I came back to my hometown, started working here. And one thing brings the other in a way, which means in 2000, in 2005, I think, I co-founded Designers United, which was my previous studio. And then 5 years ago, we had a transformation into this new one, the Semiotik. So my choice regarding the city is like, I think I feel lucky being here. It's a nice city. Greece is a very nice country, like Italy as well, like many other countries. So at the moment, yes, we are here, but we've been lucky, apart from having this nice context and environment to work in. We've been lucky because we have the ability to work, from people around the world, like everyone. So we're blessed in a way, all of us. Yeah.
And as a designer, what do you think you create behind like the surface of a poster or a packaging or whatever? Is there like something that you are very like focused on?
Not actually. I think that we create experiences. I mean, we create an environment always that this environment makes people perceive reality in different ways. So this is a generic, let's say, view of our work. But what I think we create is the experience of the engagement with the work and the project that we realize each time. So it's the bottom line is the experience. Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier the process that is research based and it's really important for you. But is there a specific part of it that you are really interested into?
Yes, I'm really interested into the initial development after the section that is called findings, which is we have all the right, let's say, aspects and tools and meanings to work on. So we create a lot of sketches around the issue we have to deal with. So this is something really interesting for me.
And do you always start together working on a new project, or like you start and then?
No. I mean, we assign specific jobs to specific people, and sometimes we work together on things. Sometimes someone does initiate the project, and other people follow. But in the end, it's always a collaborative work. Yeah.
And do you think perfection exists in design?
I don't like perfection in a way. By itself, it's something not nice for me because it doesn't give you the challenge to move forward. So if something is perfect, you cannot develop it. It's perfect, it's there. So I never find anything perfect. There is always room for development. And that's something super interesting that I think pushes the boundaries in each project and gives the fuel for further development. So I don't like something being perfect. That's it.
So in a way, you're looking for perfection, knowing that it doesn't exist. So you're always like going forward.
If you ask me like that, Stefan once said, I think perfection limits his life, which is something true actually, and it is about limitations that we set to ourselves. Perfection. So I'm not trying to find perfection in a way. I'm just trying to find possible ways to achieve things. So perfection for me is not maybe in my agenda in a regular way to determine the word perfection. Okay. Yeah. And there is always room for development. That's it.
Yeah. And what do you think about contemporary design scene?
What do I think? Well, I'm not sure if I have a concrete opinion on that. It's quite difficult to focus on anything regarding the design scene, but it's super nice that we have the ability to observe many different voices, which means everybody's out there doing things. And I think learning from other people the way they think and not the way they visualize stuff is something important for me and my team as well. So I also think that the design scene, let's say, seems quite experiential, which means I think now design in a way reflects the way we live. And this is something super important and something really authentic. And I'm happy for that. That's it. Yeah. I don't know why I use the word "that's it" in the end of my answer. Just cut it.
But so do you think like the contemporary design it's authentic?
I think yes. It's authentic. It has the tension to be more authentic because it seems to be instant in a way. It seems to be like something that can be seen really quickly. So people, I think, use a lot their instinct into making design, which means at the same time they use feeling, which is something really important if we're talking about graphic design, right? Yeah. Like implementing feeling into the design process is something super nice. Yeah.
But don't you think like instead is needed like time to develop design?
Of course. But that's my observation, what I was saying. That's my observation at the moment. But of course, time is something that is strongly associated with the design process and something really important as well.
And instead, what do you think about the impact of internet had on design?
This is another difficult question, I think. I had a short discussion with a teacher from a school of graphic design in London. And she was telling me that their observation is that people are rushing a lot, students especially, are rushing a lot to the end result, which means like people don't spend the right time into developing a project, and they rush to the final product itself. In the end, they rush to the end. So that observation from their point is something that became from the social media and the internet itself. So I think this is something really important, that maybe internet or the social media doesn't give time the right perception of time for a project development. So I think everyone has to find the right balance, how to use the information that is out there in a nice and constructive way for him or her. Yeah.
And do you think we have to adapt how we design to the time of internet, or we have to use it as a tool in a different way?
I mean, in some way, of course, we have to adapt to the latest technology as a generic term. And at the same time, I feel like we have to guard a few processes that are really meaningful in order to make things happen. So there are two things. One is the way we reflect on the internet and on the new era of media. And the other is what we do regarding this aspect and how this affects our process. I think it's a big discussion. Yeah.
And in the studio, you often have interns, and you give internships, right?
Yes. Yes, we're trying to have a couple of people. Yes.
So you have interns in your studio, and you probably have seen during the time like the different approaches of young students time by time. And what's your opinion about the design education today?
I think I've been very lucky to collaborate with some very talented people from France, from UK, from Belgium, from Greece as well as interns. And I think design is all about thinking. And these guys prove that thinking is the best tool in design. So I feel the design education is really focused on the way people should think around design, gives the right paths around design, and then each individual finds his or her own way to reinterpret what she or he got from the uni. So yeah, I feel happy.
And do you see any difference in the design education comparing with the past?
I'm not part in the educational process right now. So I cannot have an opinion regarding the way they work in the uni. But if I can reflect on the people that we work together, I think it's super nice.
And I mean, you said also like that new generation are also building in some way the future, and talking about the role of the designer in the future. Where do you think it will be? Like, is gonna be more independent, or is gonna be like the same? Because it's like evolving a lot, but in the other hand, like seems like the graphic designer is like he needs also to go back like printing with hands and all this kind of stuff.
I can talk a little bit about myself on that, and maybe my thought represents some other people as well. So, what I see regarding my point of view in the future and now as well, I think design blends with many other professions in a way. So I don't feel at the moment graphic design exists as an isolated profession. It's strongly connected with the arts, with technology, with human studies, with architecture. So I feel within the next few years, the most successful people would be the people that have knowledge around many different professions and things like I just said. So what I challenge here is the limit of the graphic design profession, which I think blends in a very nice way with the other sciences and professions. Yeah, that's where I see both myself and the graphic design future.
And I mean, we arrived to the last question, which is the 10th. Today we are.
Excuse me, which is?
The number 10.
Okay.
So today we are facing this global pandemic, and also before we started, we asked each other how it's going in Greece and Italy. But what do you think the design world can do for this global pandemic? Does the design world help?
I think it doesn't.
Why?
I think, yes, I think in situations like that, we need science, first of all, and I think graphic design is a completely supplementary profession into this situation. Yeah.
But don't you think like we can help somehow to communicate what science does, or not?
Of course, but that's common sense. But I'm not sure if this is the core of what a situation like this needs. I feel like a satellite on a planet as a graphic designer, that people are making things on the planet, trying to structure the way that people will survive in a way, or will make it better. So yeah, I feel like a satellite.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dimitris. It was nice to talk to you.
Mario, thank you so much. I hope Italy is getting better right now. And it's good that I see you safe and okay. And thank you for your invitation as well.